Hi guys, welcome to another video. So what is luxury? What is it to you? What is a luxury experience? What are luxury goods? Are they different to you, to me? We all have our different opinions, don't we? But is the luxury experience dying? There's so much talk about this at the moment, saying that actually going to actually buy some of these amazing luxury items isn't quite the experience it should be when you're spending so much money. So I'm going to tackle all of this. Let's get going. So in this video we are talking particularly about buying luxury items. So when we go into Chanel or Hermes or Louis Vuitton or any of these beautiful luxury brands, what experience are we getting? What are we receiving as the client, as the customer? So let's talk about the things that I think we would define as luxurious, and then we can work out whether it's dying or not. So the first thing is the actual experience when you go into store. What is that experience? I think that most people would love a beautiful environment. You go in, it's all set out beautifully, it's clean, I don't know, it's just beautiful. The sales associates are welcoming and lovely and helpful. And yeah, you are able to have a really lovely experience in there. You can have a look at the items, you can get hold of them, you can try them on. There's no pressure, but there's help and advice and guidance. And in the end, if you want to buy that item, you are able to buy it with your own money. And along the way, you might be offered a glass of water or champagne or whatever else. That is most people's perception, isn't it, of buying a luxury item from one of these stores. So what makes it so luxurious? Well, the surroundings for sure. If you go into a store and it's run down and it's dirty and yeah, it's not made, it doesn't look beautiful, it does put you off, doesn't it, paying a lot of money for some of these items. So I think it is the experience of the surroundings and the welcoming nature. I think also just the displays, the way that the bags, we're talking about bags at the moment, but the bags or the ready to wear or the shoes or whatever, everything is set out so you can see it. So it gives that impression of a luxurious brand. Also the price. The whole point of this, I think, is that you are paying over the norm, whatever the norm is, for some of these items, and the prices have to be high in order to make it as exclusive as possible, in order to backhandedly make it luxurious, because it's not supposed to be open to everybody, which is not very nice, is it? Because actually we can all buy whatever we want, can't we? And we can all save up, and if it takes me 10 times longer to save up than somebody else, I still am worthy of that item. But anyway, we will come on to that. But the price is definitely a sign of status for having some of these luxurious items. And we can't talk about luxury without talking about quality. The quality of the item should be there. It has to be there, doesn't it? So how can something be luxurious if it's, I don't know, defective in some way, or just bad, poor quality, or it just doesn't last? I don't know. They're things for me that are totally non-negotiable. Luxury can also be having some very rare pieces that are very exclusive. So it could be, I've got my ostrich mini capucine. Let's just grab this while we're talking about it. So yeah, something that's very rare like this, that don't come along very often, they're very hard to get. So this is rare because it's an exotic skin, and the colourway that this is in isn't something that Louis Vuitton do hardly ever. I think this is the only time I've ever seen this colour. They do a few lilacs in some of the styles, but this purple amethyst colour, it's very rare. Now, it won't be for everybody, but for those of us that do like this type of item, then yeah, it's very rare, and that's what makes this quite luxurious. Let's talk about something being exclusive. And to me, that can be very intimidating, and we'll come on to that as well. But something like this is the Birkin 25. They are so hard to get hold of. They are so sought after and so, so difficult to get hold of that, yeah, I don't know, it makes it more desirable, I suppose, to some people because it's so hard to get hold of. So, yeah, if you manage to get something so exclusive as this, does that mean it's more luxurious? It probably does. So now we've sort of defined luxury and the luxury experience that we expect or hope to get. But is that the case? Is it that luxury is dying, that the actual luxury experience is dying, that it's changing, that we're not actually receiving the experience that we expect? So let's talk about firstly the store experience, because yeah, that's the big one, isn't it? It can be very intimidating to go into some of these stores. And I know they're just stores, it's just a shop at the end of the day. However, the way they have the security guard on the door that you can't just walk in, the fact that there's queues down the lane, and we'll come on to that as well. The fact that when you do go in, you are sort of have to give your name to somebody with an iPad. They then put you down, and then even to talk to anybody, you have to wait. You can go and browse and everything else, but you have to wait for somebody to come and look after you. You can't just go and browse and pick things up anymore and all the rest of it. So it's very intimidating. So what do we feel about the store experience? Now, yeah, back in the day with me, when I first started looking at some of these items, I was massively intimidated. And there were times where I probably could have maybe gone into store and bought something, but I chose not to because I felt, oh, I daren't go in there. And it's crazy, absolutely crazy. But why is that? Is that my insecurity of feeling a little bit intimidated? Or is it that the impression of the place wasn't very welcoming? Well, it was probably a mixture of both. But the point is that if it's very welcoming, then you have more chance of going and stepping in and actually having a lovely experience. Now, I have had some amazing, amazing experiences in store. I have talked about James at LV. James, if you're watching this, and Susie at Dior in Manchester. Susie, if you're watching this, you are both unbelievable, amazing. Josh from Dior in Bond Street. Josh, you're amazing, absolutely wonderful. When we were in London recently, both Fendi stores, well, the Fendi New Bond Street store and the Fendi concession in Selfridges, could not have been more amazing. Customer service was unbelievable, just welcoming, oh, everything else. And I know at the end of the day, they are hoping that we as consumers are going to buy something. And that is why they give so much time and effort to us. But the ones that have really great experiences, I believe, they're not pushy, because if they welcome you in on day one and they are not pushy, you will keep coming back. However, recently I've been into a couple of stores where, yeah, the service wasn't great. And they didn't know me, and that's absolutely fine. They're not going to know me when it's the first time I've been into that store. But they have no clue about my background or what I may or may not spend. And they judge me immediately based on I've no idea what. But they clearly didn't think that I would be buying. And yeah, there's some rudeness there. There's some, yeah, just looks of looking you up and down. I've got a whole video on being fat shamed. Actually, he was very, very nice. I think he just, anyway, clumsy with his words. Either way, I've had some very, very inconsistent experiences in store. And when it is inconsistent, you don't know what you're going to get when you go into any store. And because of that, it can make you quite uneasy and it can put you off. And actually, you're spending potentially a lot of money in that store. And you should treat everybody with respect. And it goes both ways. I should be always respectful to the sales associates, and they should be respectful to me, regardless of whether I part with my money or not. But there is something, isn't there, that, you know, you feel like sometimes you have to beg for some help to buy a bag. It's just crazy, isn't it? But that's how it is in some of the stores. So let's talk about queuing. Queuing is a really big thing at the minute, isn't it? Just the conversation around whether you should have to queue to buy a luxury item. There are people I know that would never in a million years join a queue to go in a store. They would just say, absolutely not. I am not queuing to go and look at something in a store. I would rather not buy from that store. So where do I fall on this? Well, honestly, I don't mind queuing. I am very, very English. And we don't like to rock the boat, do we? We don't like to rock the boat. But I don't mind queuing if I know that I will be seen and I will get the chance to have a look at something. So I don't feel like I have to go to the front of a queue. But I don't like when people do that. I don't like that. We are all in this together. So what makes it that somebody can queue jump? I don't like that. But I also don't understand why they make it like that, because it doesn't have to be. It isn't a matter of, oh, there's too many people in store, you're going to have to wait. They do it in order to just control, I suppose, the amount of people going in and out and the amount of people who therefore might just be browsing. And maybe they do it to control a bit of shoplifting. I don't know. And I think mainly it's to make us all believe that we need to feel that we are worthy in order to come into this amazing store. I think a lot of it is for that mindset, I think. The queuing system, I think, in Paris, particularly places like Goyard, blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. I've been to Paris twice recently. The first time we queued up for, I think it was 40 odd minutes, something like that, and we did actually manage to get in. Now, I was sort of tagging along with it with my friends at that point. I wasn't buying anything in Goyard. I wasn't particularly interested in it. I'm a lot more interested now, so I wish I'd taken more notice. But the system was very, it's just very intimidating. You're queuing literally down the street in all weather. It doesn't matter if it's pouring down with rain, baking hot sun. It's actually very sunny when we went. And you are literally queuing and queuing to be offered the chance to even go into store. Now, the store is quite small, and I do understand that. And I know it's very exclusive. They don't even tell you prices of anything. You know, you can't find any information even online about Goyard. And I think they've made it like that to make it more exclusive. So when you go to Paris, it's a big thing to go to the store. But for me, I just think, no, I can't be bothered. I really can't be bothered. Also, it makes it really, really difficult. I had an appointment at Hermes when I was in London the last time, and I was told to come at 12 o'clock. So 12 o'clock was the opening time on a Sunday. So yeah, my SA said to me, come first thing, and we'll see you before the store fully gets really busy. So come at 12. So I get there probably 10 to 12, just because that's me. I always get there early, and obviously the store isn't even open yet. And there's a queue down the street. Now, not a massive queue, but there was probably 10 or 12 people in the queue already. And I thought, what do I do? I felt really, being very English and very, non-pushy. I thought, do I get in the queue? Do I not get in the queue? Because I have an appointment. So I thought, well, the store isn't even open yet, so I'll get in the queue. Then at least if I have to be in the queue, I'm in it already. And when the door opens and I get a bit nearer, maybe I can just pop my head round and say, if I see anybody else going in, I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to be rude, but I had an appointment. All these other people didn't have appointments. So anyway, I get a little bit nearer, and I managed to see a guy on the door, and I caught his eye, and I just said, excuse me, can I just ask, I have an appointment. I'm already late for the appointment now because you've opened slightly late. And she did ask me to come for 12. And he said, no, you have to queue. And I said, okay, but it's just, can you let her know that I'm here then? Because I don't want her to think I'm being rude and being late. And I don't see what is the point in having an appointment if you have to queue anyway. I didn't really understand. And he just said, you have to queue like everybody else. So I was like, okay. So I stayed in the queue, And to be fair, it didn't take too long, but I then have to see the man with the iPad. The man then says, "What are you looking for today?" They will not even now in Hermes let you into store without you telling them what you're looking for. Back even the last time I went to London, you could walk into store and then you'd find somebody with an iPad, so you could browse, you could go in. Now they make you queue outside, and literally, and whether it's just because they're first opening, I don't know, and whether it changes as the day goes on, but literally nobody was allowed in store until they had registered their name with the man with the iPad and told him what they were there for, what department, did they want to look at shoes or belts or scarves, etc. And they would be assigned that way. You couldn't browse, you could not just walk in. So, because somebody in front of me said, "Oh, I just want to have a look at a few things." Well, no, you need to tell me which department. So, yeah, so when it was my turn, I said, "I have an appointment." He then said, "Okay, I'll note your name, go upstairs." I went upstairs, there was another person with an iPad. I then gave my name again. She then said, "Okay, just have a seat. Your essay will be with you shortly." And I had to wait. I don't know, I probably had another half an hour wait. And I kept seeing my sales associate, and she was serving a couple of people before she came to me. So I don't understand. I don't mind. I don't mind waiting, but just communicate with me. I'm sat there thinking, do I try and let her know I'm here? Have the people let her know? And it was, no, you just have to wait. She's now serving someone else. So I don't know. That's not a luxury experience to me, is it? Because by the time I got to see her, everything felt a lot more rushed. So when we're talking about the quality of items, I have a couple of videos which you can go and have a look at. And it is about quality issues. Now, I've had quality issues with Chanel and with Louis Vuitton. Never had any quality issues with Dior that I can remember at all. But Louis Vuitton, I've had one issue, and it has been in the 30 years that I've been, or 30, 20 odd years that I've been buying Louis Vuitton. One issue, one time. And when I pointed out the issue, which I didn't spot either in store, it was dealt with like that. So I have zero issue with Louis Vuitton. James dealt with it immediately. He's amazing. LV are amazing. I have no issue, because for me, things can happen, can't they? And it's how they deal with it that's really important. Now, when it comes to Chanel, that's where I have a problem, because the quality, in my personal opinion, and this is in the lambskin side of things, I don't think it's great. I don't. And I don't think that Chanel is as luxurious as it should be for the price. So, yeah, quality, it just has to be there, doesn't it? Is the luxury experience actually dying? Well, I don't think it is. I think it's changing a little bit, but I think it's always been like that. Back in the day when I first started looking at some luxury items, I remember being really intimidated, and the sales associates were super snooty and snobby, and yeah, just would look down on you a lot. So I don't think that, I don't think it was an amazing, welcoming experience, and suddenly it's not. I think it's always been slightly intimidating for different reasons. So now the sales associates are generally really, really nice, less snooty, in my opinion, than it has been. But then there's all these silly systems in place now that actually make it not a great luxury experience. So for me, it's not intimidating anymore. It's just annoying. So the fact that you have to queue, the fact that you make an appointment because I don't know, the sales associates in store. So you try and make an appointment, and then you still have to queue anyway. And you feel really embarrassed about saying, "Excuse me, can I come in? I've got an appointment," because they send you back in the queue anyway. So that for me isn't luxurious experience. I don't know, but I don't think it's as intimidating for me as it used to be. But I think I deal with it better now. So I think there's part of that. When you go into Louis Vuitton, I mean, once you get to know a sales associate in Louis Vuitton, somebody like James, I can just WhatsApp him and say, "Are you around? Can I call in?" And he will just message me back as soon as he can. So there's never any issue. And he's either waiting at the door for me or I just have to give his name. And I never worry about going into Louis Vuitton. It's always a really lovely experience. I never worry about going into Dior. I think it's always a lovely experience. Fendi was the same. So yeah, for me, Hermes and Chanel are the two that I think I don't enjoy the experience as much as I should. It becomes a little bit of a stress or a little bit of a, yeah, and it shouldn't be like that. It should just be, yeah, you shouldn't be stressed about buying a handbag. Crazy. So I think at the end of the day, the answer to this is if you feel uncomfortable or intimidated, or if you feel any sort of way about buying in that experience, don't do it. You have the choice. It's your money that you're spending. If you don't like going into Chanel, don't go in. Go to Louis Vuitton and buy from there. If you really love the items but you don't like the experience, then you've got choices of maybe pre-loved or using a personal shopper, or I don't know, certain brands you can still buy certain things online, so you've always got that option. I like the experience of going in. I do like all of that, but it has to be a good experience. Otherwise, I just won't spend my money there. It's too hard earned to just throw away. So, yeah, but also don't let people intimidate you, and don't not buy something because of one person in there. If you really, really love Chanel and you love the whole aesthetic of the bags and everything else, but there's a sales associate that you don't enjoy working with, find another one. And I know it's really hard. I get it. I get it. But go into a different store somewhere and find somebody else, because there are options. So don't let it stop you, but also don't be pressurized into buying something you don't want. Just you do you. So let me know what you guys think to this whole topic. Let's have a discussion in the comments. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on another one.